Hello, it's me again with another indoor tower fan moment. Still going through this heat wave in July 2025 at the time of this recording. And I wanted to kind of define reciprocity because a lot of you hear about reciprocity all the time. You hear it on social media and all of the different videos when they talk about energy and relationships. But I just want to clarify and give an example of what reciprocity is, because you'd be surprised how many people listen to lectures and watch videos and podcasts and they have no clue of what certain words mean. And I want to go into detail about it because for some reason people are kind of misunderstood as to what it means. A good synonym for reciprocity is symbiosis. And for those of you who took biology class, symbiosis refers to balance. Is an evenness. Like the scales are balanced. In other words, with reciprocity, and long story short, it's kind of like a mutual agreement to provide something similar to one another. In other words, what's being given to you, you give back in return at the same level, not higher or lower or anything like that. Reciprocity involves an even exchange, whether it's physical, spiritual, mental, or whatever. And some people, because of a lack of programming, and this was me in the past, we didn't understand that. We didn't understand that there's a huge responsibility associated with reciprocity. We didn't understand how the balance of energies involved. And because people don't understand reciprocal energy at all, they feel that the little bit that they give is sufficient enough to exchange with other people, when it's obvious that other people are giving more than they're receiving. And for some people, they don't take that very well. Some people don't take very well the fact that they're giving more to people who don't give back. And some of them, because of bad programming, they continue to do that throughout their whole life because they've been programmed to give more. Turn the other cheek, just keep giving till you can't give anymore because you'll be blessed. I have a problem with that. Because some people are actually brainwashed to believe that if they give more of themselves to people, that it's acceptable. But when they get tapped out, that's where the problem comes in. A lot of these people feel deceived when they go back to the people that they overextended themselves to, and those people can't help them. Now, it'd be different if those people aren't in a situation to help them. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones who are able to help them and will not do it because they were quick to receive what was given to them, but when it was time for them to return the favor, they refused to do it. And they have every story in the book. They have every trick in the book. They have every game in the book as to why not. These are entitled people. This is what the entitled person does. And I think in a later audio, I'm going to talk about people who are entitled. Because a lot of the entitled people that you think of are the people that are just the nasty, spoiled brats. You'd be surprised of how many entitled people that are out there are actually calm-natured and kind people. Nice people, but they have a sense of entitlement. They're nice, and then there's some that are nice as long as they get what they want. Then when they don't, you see another person, like a Jekyll and Hyde type thing going on. Entitled people have no concept of how to deal with reciprocal energy because they don't want to give anything anyway. They don't want to give anything or very little as possible just to say that they gave. But it's not nearly as much as everybody else. And you guys see this all the time. I'm going to give the job as an example. Let's say you have a team of 12 employees, all commissioned to do the same job, okay? It could be in an accounting department, payroll department. It could be on a construction job. It could be a whole bunch of painters that are working together, a whole bunch of people on the manufacturing line. Every single person has the same task to do. Everybody may have different approaches of how to do it, but the end result is the same in the same time period. A lot of them receiving darn near close to or the same compensation. You got 12 people. Out of those 12 people, let's say half of them are doing their job okay, just at different pace, but still they get the work done. Out of the other 6, though, you got some that don't come to work on time. You have some that don't come to work at all. You have some that when they come to work, they're halfway dead, or they're hungover, or they're sick. You have the ones that come to work like gangbusters, and have an excuse to leave early. You have the ones that are using up all the sick time all the time, using up the PTO time all the time, because it's always somebody else's fault, be it a family matter, personal matter, whatever the case may be. They're not pulling their weight. These are the other 6. Well, in those type of environments, managers try to foster a team approach, but it's hard to do when you got 6 people that are doing what they're supposed to do, and they're getting paid just about or close to the same compensation as the people who aren't pulling their weight. Those people who are dedicated and who are trying to work, they do it because that's how they were trained to do it in the workforce. But when you see somebody who's coming in, let's say that they're inebriated or they're high or some of the things that I previously mentioned in regards to their work performance, the other people that are there who are loyal, the morale goes down because they're like, okay, if they're getting paid just about the same thing I'm getting paid and I'm getting this, there's no fairness here. Now, we all know that life is not fair, but some people take that, they really take that to heart, especially if they have a lot of obligations. Let's say that Joe is a hard-working guy and he's got 3 kids at home and a wife who's working hard as well, and they're barely making ends meet, but they're okay where they are. Joe's got to come in to work the other day. Help me, Spirit. Joe has to come in to work every day knowing that there are going to be 6 people that's not doing their part, and they're getting paid the same, if not a little bit more than he's getting paid. After a while, Joe is not going to want to put 100% into his work. Joe's going to start doing the same thing that those people are doing, but the difference with Joe is he's going to use his extra time off to go find another job or start a business or go back to school. He's going to improve his situation because he knows he's got those obligations and he's got people depending on him. Joe is not a slacker. And Joe also has a iffy relationship with management now. Management's scratching their head. They're worried. And I'm going to tell you, in some workplaces, managers are not going to sit back and take that lightly. Instead of punishing or dealing with the 6 people who have been slackers all along, let one person who works hard try to do the same thing. All of a sudden, they're getting written up. They're being denied for promotions. They're either delaying or being denied wage increases. But the people who have been the slackers all along, nobody touches them. See, the managers are beginning to realize, oh Lord, if Joe's going to mess up, then that means the other 5 are going to mess up because they see that Joe, and see, these people are pulling the weight for the whole team. No. The bottom line is if you got 12 people and if all 12 people aren't working to try to make things productive, you don't put the burden on one or 2 people to carry all 12. That's ridiculous. And you expect them to do it with a smile on their face or their circumstances and turn around and say, oh, well, they need the job anyway because they got all these obligations, see? That's manipulation and it doesn't work. They look up one day and see Joe has gave his notice and they don't know why. Then at the last minute want to ask them, hey, you sure you don't want to change your mind? I can speak from this because I was Joe. We had a team. We had some people that just didn't care. They were getting paid the same thing, if not a few cents more than I was. I kept my mouth shut. I didn't complain too much about it to anybody. If I did, it was, off the clock, off the record, and off the premises. But no, I tried to keep to myself as much as I could. So I know how Joe felt. And I was all gangbusters and ready to go. But when I started to look around and see, and then the minute that I tried to take off time that was offered to me, or do some of the things like take a few little extra breaks here and there, even though I was still able to do my job, all of a sudden the gavel comes down on me. And I could have easily said, well, so-and-so is doing it. But see, I didn't want to be one of those people who complain about everybody else. I'm more adult than that. But the bottom line is the managers were not making sure that reciprocal energy was being exchanged to keep everything even. No, they weren't allowing it. They weren't fostering it. And like I said, I got along fine with my managers. There were 5 of them, which that alone could be a bit stressful for some people because you got different people that are working and you have to worry about what to expect from them on a daily basis. I didn't worry about what to expect from them on a daily basis because that wasn't my primary concern when I came into work every day. My primary concern was to do the duties that my contract required, and I did it. But for some people who don't have that mentality, they will be busy looking and seeing what everybody else is doing instead of focusing on the job. And those are the other 6 I'm talking about because they don't have their work ethic or their priorities straight. So I just looked up one day, that was just one issue as to why I left. But the main issue was the finances. I got priced out, my friends. And maybe Joe was getting priced out. Joe's dealing with high rents and the high food costs and everything else and got obligations at home. And Joe is like that, paired with the fact that he feels that he's doing the work of 2 people because the other people on the team aren't doing their share. He's like, deuces, I'm gone. Don't take it personal. It is what it is. This applies to romantic relationships as well. You got givers and takers, and a lot of time the givers are involved with takers. But they feel because of their conditioning, their religion, their custom, or whatever the case may be, that they're supposed to be the giver and that they're supposed to be involved with takers. Givers can be with givers and takers can be with takers. So I kind of hope this clarifies things for you guys. But yeah, we've got to keep our eye out. This is part of dealing with spiritual warfare. You got to look out and see where the reciprocity is in things. I'm not saying look for somebody to give something back to you, but you've got to study their energy and how they operate. Because as I stated before, some people can't reciprocate at the time because of their circumstances. If it's their circumstances, that's fine. But if the person has a nature of entitlement or a nature of being a taker, they have no clue what reciprocity is, and your best bet is not to deal with them in regards to any serious matters at all. So I kind of hope this clarifies things for a lot of you guys. Again, thank you for the growing support of the channel. And for those of you who don't know, I am doing some lighthearted clips and sharing some customer service stories on my Flip channel, which is under the PeachyPathfinder. I hope you guys go over there and take a look, share, comment, and subscribe. I'd appreciate that. And I'll talk to you next time.